hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here. Welcome back. Planet Zoo continues with our third episode, or rather our third mission, I should say, and we'll hop over to career mode to take a look at that right now. We're actually going on to our, well, technically it's the fourth mission. Again, if you guys want to see more of this, you can check the playlist where we played through the Goodwin House when the game was in early access, kind of an early peak, and the last two have been absolutely fantastic. So we've been scoring gold stars. If we continue on, we'll be probably all the way through the game soon enough, but there's plenty of challenges ahead. So let's see what lies in store for us next. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and click or tap that like button and let me know that you want to see more. We're heading to Canada now. Thanks to everybody for showing their support and subscribing and hanging out. You guys have been wanting more of this series, and I can't wait to play it more as well, including the single-player campaign, but also the quote-unquote franchise mode. Here we are, bud. We're up here in Canada. Grab yourself a Labatt Blue and let's hang out here at the crystal clear water there, bud. Wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? This game is incredible.
After your sterling work in China, I got a bit of good news, better news situation for you.
Oh, yeah?
The good news is that I'm promoting you to apprentice zoo manager.
Bro!
The better news is you get to build a new zoo from scratch.
Finally.
That said, you will be on your own this time. No help from Nancy,
okay.
Although she wishes you luck.
Oh, so that's nice, Nancy.
I suppose it's actually more of a good news, better news, and then slightly worse news situation. Either way, it's a chance for you to really prove yourself.
Thank you.
Now, for this zoo, I'll want to see a good few different habitat and exhibit species, and at least as many guests to look at them. I'd also like you to keep your staff nice and happy as much as you can. And obviously, the same's true of the animals as well.
Okay.
Oh, and,
yes?
Let's see. Yeah, you should try to turn a good-sized profit to
boot. Oh, right, the money.
So we can continue our vital work elsewhere.
Of course.
There. That should keep you going for a while.
Thank you, sir.
I'll check in with you later. Good luck.
Now, what I plan to do for this series, then, is to play through the game in its entirety. And I'd like to get your advice on what you think we should do. Shall we do a time-lapse and I talk over it, or do you want to see every little bit? If we do every little bit, it's probably going to take a while to complete all the goals, all the way up to gold. Or we could just do bronze and then just go on to the next one, the next one, the next one, and then come back eventually. I'll leave it up to you. But for now, I'll just at least play this through in normal speed since we have a lot of things to see, since our hands are basically free now of the tutorial and we can do whatever we want. So here's the entryway to the park. Comes out of the cave here. And then it looks like we've got a beautiful river here, both sides of the river that we can build on, with plenty of territory up here to build. Looks like actually like a little waterfall area up here, maybe? Oh, no, just kind of like a little lake or something with another little lake up here, too. Cool. Wow, well, we got plenty of space to build in, and it looks like possibly a path here, though it looks like the path isn't even connected. So let's start with that. We'll start buying animals and getting started. Again, I am streaming on YouTube as well from time to time, our playthrough of the franchise as well. So essentially franchise mode and this mode are essentially the same. You need to manage the park and make money, but the only difference is that this one has goals to complete, which are quite fun actually to be able to be challenged that way. So that's kind of cool. How am I supposed to make a pathway out of here? This is going to be kind of tricky. Let's go ahead and, well, I don't want it to be more than maybe 8 meters, so let's just start here. There we go, that's a little better. Alright, cool. We'll use the angle snap to lock it in place and go up to the bridge. That seems to be up here. There we go. Connect those together, and that's a good start. All right, well, here would be a fantastic area to put like maybe an enclosure and then some gift shops too, so we can get started with that. It's going to be slow and go as we have a lot to do to complete those goals. Let's take a look at those goals now. So under bronze, we need to have 350 guests in the park. More attractive animals attract more guests, of course. Then we need to have 7 habitat species in the zoo and have 4 exhibit species in the zoo. So that's 7 habitat species, so like the big enclosures, and then 4 exhibits, which are like snakes and frogs that can be kept in the little glass enclosures. Have at least 10 habitat species, 6 exhibits, and a yearly profit of 10,000. Not impossible, but definitely not going to be something that we can do in 10 minutes. So let's get rolling then. So the entrance to the park is built. I think what we'll do first is start building the animal enclosures, and then start building our facilities and such. So if I put an enclosure here, that'd be a great start. Could probably put some bears here or something like that. And then maybe something up here too. So we're in Canada, so we're probably going to do a little bit better with Canadian animals and whatnot to start with. So let's go to the zoo tab, and let's go to we can't do animal training until we've actually built the zoo facility and stuff. Okay, so we need to actually build like the trade center and then the storage, whatnot, and all the other things. So let's try to do something a little different than wood here. Let's try a tree bark path. Oh wait, Yeah, tree bark would probably be fine here. And we'll shrink it down a little bit because we're going to make it go up this way. And then we'll maybe make an enclosure over there. So let's get started. So this game is super, super chill. Very casual, but also a very involved game, as you, of course, need to tend to all of your animals' needs. And it seems like getting animal welfare up to 90%, like some of the previous goals, when you have multiple animals, can be quite difficult. What you might want to do, for starters, my recommendation from playing before, would definitely be to start with just a few animals and make sure you fully research them. So that way you can get them all their needs for their enclosures and such, and then they'll be a lot happier. They'll be happy campers that way. And the happier the animals, the less protesters that will come in, etc., etc. All right, let's see. I think we won't really be able to build up here too much. In fact, I think the edge of the map is technically here, so I can't even see the dotted line, but there might be a way to turn that on. So really, can't build much up in the mountain, but we certainly can build up here, here, and then maybe behind us, but we'll have to somehow figure out a path to get up there. Looks like we can build the bridge up here to something big. But also there's a lot of waterfront space too, so we'll build something down there for animals that like the water, such as hippos or whatnot. Although it just seems a little crazy to have an outdoor zoo in Canada. It could possibly snow, though. I have seen that weather is a thing in this game now. I had no idea that there were seasons. I knew that it would rain and stuff like that, but I've never seen weather in a Planet game before, so that's really cool to see. Well, I think that's enough for our enclosure. In fact, maybe I'll shrink it up a little bit, and we'll build an enclosure that goes this way. Perhaps we could do 2 enclosures, and then build like a pathway that circles back around, so that way we can go back to start, something like this. There we go. So that way everybody can kind of walk around and see everything. This zoo is not going to be as big as the other ones, so we don't need to make things as huge. So let's start with a habitat. I think what we'll start with is a maybe a small wooden habitat. And usually it's a good idea to start with like turtles or something like that. They're very profitable turtles. Everybody likes them, and they don't take up much space, and they're not too picky. So I think we can build a turtle enclosure here. And then we can build some more animals on the other side. So let's start that. All right, and then we'll try to go down this way. I don't know. All right. Let's try this. All right, that's looking good. Fantastic. I don't think we want to make it too normally shaped here. But we'll try something like this. That's actually a huge spot for turtles, but this does give them a good area in order to... actually, this is a good idea here. Watch this. Let's make the enclosure like this. Wait a minute. Come on now, don't be picky with me. I want it to come to an edge here. I'm trying to make it a little different. Let's try length down to 4 meters. That might help. Nope, let's go down to 6. Let's try 5, somewhere in between. There we go. Perfect, and then we can extend it. Now, my park is going to be a little thrown together. Of course, I'm trying to rush through to see all the campaign. I'm excited to see what's next and stuff, so don't expect perfection, but I think the animals at least are going to enjoy the home that we give them. Let's go. Oh, there's a lot more options, too, for different types of pathways as well, so I really like that. This hexagon one is a favorite of mine. We'll do that over here. And what a good idea to do in the game is to make these little, little pathways that kind of go off to the side so people can kind of pull over from the main exhibit. So I'll have to remove this barrier here. But essentially, it allows people to kind of walk past it and then walk into the exhibit or the enclosure. You'll see what I mean here in a second. I had to make quite a large area here to whip back. But you see what I mean. And then, of course, the major important thing in this game is to put down donation bins. Donations are really probably the single best way in order to make money in this game. And money is incredibly important because without that, you don't have a working park. And without that, you are a GG. Good. A little extra space here for trees and things like that. That's nice. So now we can add some windows quickly. And what I'll do is I'm going to set up all the enclosures first, and then we'll start putting animals in there and decorating to their needs. So we'll first put down some windows. We'll also need to put down a door for employees to go inside, so that way they can feed the animal and take care of them and do whatever else they've got to do. Looks like that actually is set up. Perfect. I'll add a few more windows then. Let's edit the barrier. I like putting the windows in. Turtles are extremely easy to take care of. There's no chance of them escaping at all. All you've got to do is really just maintain the enclosure with the appropriate mechanics hired, and that's all you've really got to do. So let's go ahead and hire, or rather put down some glass. Of course, people walking by in the main path might slow down a little bit, but traffic management is important in this game, so I think we'll kind of just leave it like that. In fact, I could probably build another path here, but we can always come back to that. So turtle habitat done for now. It's a good placeholder. The only problem with the barrier that is made of wood is that it can't curve, but the corrugated one can, and same with the red brick. But these ones are just a little bit more cheaper, so it's a really good, easy start. Glass, of course, is extremely expensive at $3.50 a pop. In fact, that's the most expensive one that we have, but of course for good reason, because one, the glass has to be very thick in order to protect from the animal breaking through it, but also because it, well, provides probably the greatest ability to see the animal too, which means that people are, you know, obviously going to like that the best. Alright, let's go over this way with some of our enclosure now. If we go through the rocks, that's fine. We'll scoot things around. And in fact, I could probably build the barrier up this way, because this rock face here would be a natural barrier to an animal. But what we can do is build the enclosure first, and then if we need to extend it, we can gobble up that space up there. So let's go ahead and bring it to a close here, and then we'll just bring it all the way back. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so this looks great, and then we'll extend onto this as well. So I think the best animals to start with, like I mentioned, are the turtles and a few of the cheap and easy ones that are quite popular and very easy to take care of too. We should be able to have two enclosures next to each other to, I guess, go off to the other one. Also, getting them into natural water areas is good too, but for the turtles, it's not necessarily needed as much. In fact, that might be a little tight, but experience shows that it might be okay. Let's go ahead and try over here now. This one should be pretty good too. Again, our goal really is only to get 350 guests and to have just a few animals in the park. So it's not too difficult. Also, I'm trying not to include these trees in the enclosure because some animals require different plants. And so if they see like an oak tree and yet they're like a lion, it might be confusing. Like, why am I seeing the oak tree? You know? Alright, we could build a path out here too to go along the water, so maybe we'll build that too. Let's go back to our tree bark path, and let's see if we can build out that way. The game is a little more difficult than I remember for building paths. Planet Coaster has always been picky too. I shouldn't say difficult, it's just a little picky. Like, for example, you see here how it's obstructed by water volume. Like, it won't let me build a bridge here, which is a little obnoxious. So we'll have to do the flattened terrain, and that'll allow us to build out there. But it seems to be deselected, and I can't select it. Tunneling and flattened terrain are not on. I wonder why it won't let me do that. Let's try to build somewhere else, see if it lets me change. Huh, doesn't let me flatten the terrain. That's very strange. Well, I had an idea to possibly build out there, but we can always come back to it. We can put some big windows here. But essentially, we want at least maybe 3 out of the 4 sides of an enclosure to be viewable by people, if you can. That's a very good number. Well, we have 3 enclosures to start with. That'll at least get us a starting park. So let's, before we run out of money, though we have quite a bit, let's start with some facilities too. We'll go ahead and, what is this? Oh, cool, a transport monorail. I've never seen that before. That's definitely a new one. Looks like the only transport we have at the moment. That'll be cool, but not necessarily needed at the moment. Alright, let's go for the zookeeper hut. Now, of course, in this game, you want to keep some of the services for animals away from guests' prying eyes. And so, essentially, the best way to do that is to try to put them off the path and then decorate the heck out of them, like disguising it as, you know, like a log cabin or something like that. But for now, since, again, I'm concerned about cash, I'm just going to start by putting these over here. We want our research center, we want our veterinarian center, and a few places to bring the animals if they're sick. Also, the workshop important, but we'll put that down a little bit later. The keeper hut is important. What is the one I'm looking for? The staff center. We'll put that down too. It's like a little break center for the employees, just like in Planet Coaster, how you can build a staff break room. This also requires that too. So let's go to the staff break room if we can find that. This is there it is, the staff break room. Fantastic. And again, the people don't want to see this, so you got to keep things a little hidden. So let's just try to tuck that in over here, and we might build the pathway a little bit later to connect to all these. There we go. That's actually a really nice path. That seems to be asphalt or something paved with the... Oh, nice. It has a little border of, like, wood. Although this is darker wood and this is lighter wood. Wonder what the difference is here. Well, we can make this a staff-only area, so let's go ahead and do that. Kind of a little ugly looking, but I should use square techniques in order to do this. So I think there is a way to square it up. If we go square edges and use the align grid, we should be able to do it that way. So let's give that a shot. See if we can align to a square grid. There we go. Excellent. Alright. Yeah, this game does not like cramped spaces, so it's going to be a little difficult to build if you're lacking for space. But that's okay. Not everything has to be perfect either, especially when you're dealing with nature. But we can always move that later. First and foremost, the most important thing is to make sure we're making money. So now we should be able to trade for some animals. So let's see what we got. We got ourselves some turtles, so that's absolutely yes. And look at that, we've got 1,000 conservation points. Excellent. Now, I don't know if those cross over from other parts of the campaign, so we might have to be cautious about that. But luckily, turtles are not too expensive. We have the Aldebra turtles, and it doesn't look like we have... Ooh, American bison. Cool. We also want to make sure that we get ones with good points, so that attracts a lot of people, such as Noodaloo here, and then that's for 2,078, and then I think we'll get... Actually, this one's 2,000 whatnot. Got to make sure you keep an eye on their age. This one's a little younger at 44 years old, so let's go with that one. And we'll go ahead and make a adoption there. And then we'll adopt a female, which is at 52. Ooh, older lady, I see. Well, actually, we can go for the 41. Let's go with that one, too, to try to get our rates up a little higher. All right, so we'll put the turtles in there. And then what should we do over here? We need here and here. They can't be too big. The buffalo might be a little bit too big to fit in there. In fact, if we could, we'd probably put the buffalo here. But that even looks a little too small for them as well. So we want small animals because we're basically built between a rock and a hard place, the river and the mountains. So our space is very limited, so we can't get like a giant elephant or something like that. At least not at the start. Bison are a little too big. What else do we got? Wildebeest. Okay. Bears. Bears are very popular. Let's go with some bears. Let's go with a... wow, I can barely believe it. We got plenty of good bears. Let's go with the black bear. Of course, Canadians have never witnessed a bear. I'm sure they don't even know what that is. Wow, grizzly bears too? Excellent. I think we can do a battle arena as well for them if we want to. Alright, let's see. So we've got monkeys too. Japanese oh, those are going to be very popular. But what is this? Wow, 1,000... Let's see who is the most expensive. Let's try to sort by attraction points. Let's see who the most attractive one is. Wow, look at that. We can attract giant apes for like 1,000 points. We won't be able to do that. That's going to be very spendy. And we'll only be able to buy one snow leopard, which is fine. A lot of those for points. But that's why the bears are so important. Look at this. They bring in 3,000 points. So we should probably do that. Let's bring in a... Of course, there's a lot of things to consider, too, like their fertility and longevity and immunity. But for this start, it's probably not going to matter too much, I think. So we'll go with a male and a female here. Size is a little small on this one, but that'll be okay. So we'll go with 2 bears. We have black bears and grizzly bears. That's cool. We have a male and a female bear here. And then let's see, saltwater crocodile, turtles. I think we might want to go for the monkeys next. Timberwolves might be cool. They're a little difficult to take care of, though. They are very needy social-wise. And we could probably get more out of the lemurs in a small space. So the lemurs I think we should go with next. So let's pick a species here. Let's go with lemurs if we can. I believe they're called ring-tailed lemurs. Those are the ones we're looking for. So let's go with ring-tailed lemur. There we go. And they want a pretty large social group. So let's buy like 3 of them. Let's do a male and 2 females maybe. And maybe one more out of our conservation points. Good. When we release animals back into the wild, that's how we'll get our conservation points back. So it's a really good way for us to be able to kind of spend, raise an animal, and then get the money back. All right, so turtles, lemurs, and bears. At least one of our bears. Then our second bears could probably go up here. Or maybe over here. In fact, I'd prefer up here because they have a nice little water source. So maybe we could put lemurs... Ah, yes, we'll put the bears on either side. Perfect. All right, the bears can go into a wooden enclosure, too. You just got to make sure it's high enough. So it's not the end of the world if you use different barriers. The differences in the barriers, of course, are their durability and perhaps attractiveness. I don't know if that's a factor or not, but we'll do that. No waterfall here? Aw, the developer should have put a cool waterfall here. That's a shame that it doesn't come in naturally. Although this game has really good options for building your own waterfalls. In fact, we'll put a chain link fence here. So that way we can do this. And then what we can do is we can do a null barrier along the wall, so that way the bears can't escape. Essentially, it'll mark the enclosure as being, the wall being a part of the enclosure. Now, how do I shrink this down just a little bit? Well, we can put it here. Then let's do a null barrier. So we'll have to do the null barrier kind of inside the mountain, because if we put it on the opposite side of the mountain, it'll trigger the enclosure. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it'll trigger as an escape, and we don't want the bears thinking they can escape. So let's put another fence back this way. This is a pretty large territory for the bears, to be honest. But that's fine, because if we build a cave or something for them to sleep in, that's going to take up some territory. And we'll also want to raise the height of this, too. Anything smaller than that would be a little silly. Looks like there's area up here to build as well. So we'll try to avoid gobbling up all the pathway. There we go. Then we could do a little nook here for the animals to be seen by the people at a little closer view. There we go. And that should work, I hope. Chain link fence there for the water. And I'm hoping the bears can't escape here. We'll see, though. I think they might be able to crawl up here. But when you put the animal in, you should be able to take a look and confirm it. But we'll take a look. Everything requires adjustment. Okay. So now we've got plenty of pathways, and now we got our bears ready there. So let's start with the animals that we have. Let's start buying some stuff. We've really come a long way already. I think we're almost ready to open the zoo, as long as we get the animals down, and we can open it up. Speaking of opening it up, let's go ahead and open up our path length to about 8 meters. We're going to have a lot of people gathering around here for the bears. And in fact, I think we might be able to make the path a little closer. There we go. Alright, now we can shrink that down a little bit and navigate our way up the hill. Now, we don't have to do this yet. We'll do that when we have an enclosure, but essentially people will be able to look at it. It certainly looks messy, doesn't it? It's really messy, but I've seen all the other scenarios and such. The tutorial levels really are just beautiful, and they're certainly not square and gridiron. We're not building a city, we're building a zoo, and so if things are a little less perfect, they actually look nicer with trees, and of course when you lay out your pathways and such, it'll look a lot nicer afterwards. This could be a little better, though. I would like this section to be more square, although if I build a gridiron here, it's going to look a little goofy, I would say. There we are. Let's try this. I'll build a square path here if I can. Seems to always want to click over there. Game is a little picky with its length and width of pathways, but that's okay. Some things you just got to learn to live with, I suppose. Okay. Well, we'll make that for now. I wonder if there's a way we can just get that edge to do it. Nope, it'll do the whole thing. Okay. Well, let's add some more windows then. I guess we'll install some, maybe Windows 3.1. Something along those lines. Let's go ahead and put windows in here. Actually, if we click and drag this way, I do remember, we can actually do it this way too. So it's really helpful to be able to click and then drag to install more than one window. So if you want to do windows all the way, boom, there you go. That's all you got to do. Easy, isn't it? Okay, so I think we can start putting our animals in as soon as we've got all the windows installed, and donations are very important as well. So keep that in mind. That's the only way we're going to make money. The park entrance fee, of course, you can charge for, but it seems to be better just to, according to everybody's opinion, or at least from what I've read, it seems to be best to have a lower entry fee. You can have an entry fee, but food and water and drink and all that doesn't make as much money as the donations. Donations are far, far more valuable. Okay, we now have 3 enclosures ready to go on the base and another one at the top. So let's go ahead and start popping our animals in here, and then we'll start catering to their needs. However, I have forgotten to put down doors, didn't I? So let's go ahead and make sure we put those down. We can put, a door there is not going to look too pretty. We'll put it over there. There we go. Then we'll put another door over here. Of course, this is for the zookeepers to head in there and take care of the animal. And also, it seems to be a good idea to put your feeders near the doors as well. So that way, the animals, or rather the employee doesn't have to walk too far to feed the animals. And sometimes with a big enclosure, your turtles will take forever to crawl over to where the food is. So keep that in mind, that turtles take a while to feed sometimes. Okay, let's start popping these animals in. So let's go ahead and head our... Let's see, let's take these two and move them into their enclosure here. Excellent. Then we'll take the... let's put the lemurs over here, maybe. So let's go ahead and go to animal trading. Let's go to animal storage. And I think we're going to do our lemurs. Oh, I only purchased one lemur? Did I mistakenly only buy one? That's weird. These two should be moved. Let's go with our, what's more worth it? The black bears, it seems like, are going to be more worth it. So we'll put our black bears up here. And then we will put our brown bears when we put them down over here. Yeah, we'll put them over there. I must have misclicked then when I purchased the remaining lemurs. I may have not confirmed the purchase, which is okay. So, actually, we could put brown bears down here if we wanted to. Unless there's another animal. That might be good. Let's see. I think really the best is our brown bear and black bears for now. And it'll keep everybody on this side of the park. Except for if we were going to do lemurs. Oh, there's some more lemurs then. Huh, I can't believe I didn't do that right. Alright, well, that's fine. Let's go back to trade history. Yep, looks like I didn't buy them at all. So, let's go back to the animal market, and we'll sort by ringtail lemur. Ring-tailed lemur. There we go. Ring-tailed lemur here. Let's go ahead and purchase the ones that are a little more expensive, I guess. And younger are good, too. We'll try to go for a few male and female. Now, these animals want a larger social group, so it is important to try to buy multiple ones. So that way you can have them be happier. So sometimes if you're going to buy an animal, you better make sure you've got enough for multiple animals. Okay, let's go ahead and go with these ones. So these 4 should be ready to go. So I think we'll put them in here. We'll have to raise the elevation of this habitat too, so don't you worry. We got that in the mix. And then our 2 grizzly bears. We'll move them over here too by the water. So grizzly bears down here, black bears up here, lemurs here, and turtles here. And then we'll put something here, and possibly here. Good. Now we've got a big area here for a food court. That'll be perfect. We actually do food court here and here. Just a few facilities will be perfect for our employees and for our guests too. They won't have to walk too far to go on a break. So let's go ahead and get working on that. And we'll on pause soon enough, as soon as everything's in place. So let's go with facilities food. I guess we'll put a little food and drink down here. Actually, we can put a restroom down here, too. That should be under facilities, right? Services, guest facilities. Ah, here we are. All right, we'll do a food shop. So we'll pop one of those down right here. And a little longer line, a little longer pathway for a queue is always a good idea. Again, we're building very simply because the most important thing here for us to do is to make sure we're making money. And that's going to be difficult for the first couple of months. We will lose cash because we won't have a lot of guests. It is going to be imperative that we get guests in here in order to keep our budget going. So far, so good. Put down another toilet. Or I guess our first toilet. There we go. Now, of course, if I were doing this as a permanent park, things would be laid out a little bit differently. But we're just trying to accommodate the scenario. We're trying to do what the scenario wants. So hopefully that does well. We can also research other restaurants, too. So eventually we'll be able to build things such as different types of milkshake facilities and things like that. Luckily, we've already got some prefab ones here that look pretty good. We'll put down a toilet, too. There we are. Maybe we'll throw that over this way. Very good. Okay. And let's go ahead and go over here. So let's see. There we are. Okay, probably not nice to have a toilet next to that, but at least we're laying out all of our needs. Okay, so we've got 2 facilities for that. I think we're about ready to open the zoo. Technically, I think it is opened, and people just don't come until we've actually got the park, like animals in the park. There's no reason for them to come yet. And I think there's a way to check. If we go to zoo, and if we go to zoo overview, we might be able to turn on and off. So it is open. It's called the Maple Leaf Wildlife Park. and we'll have an inspector come soon enough to make sure we're okay. We've already spent $33,000, which is almost half of what we had in the bank. And, of course, decorating these remaining enclosures is important, so let's go ahead and hire some staff so that way they can bring them to where they need to go. So let's go to zoo. We'll probably also have to do something with water filtration for some of these animals, too, so we'll get to that. Oh, nice. When you buy one of those food stands, it comes automatically with a vendor. That's good. Vendors are not as picky in this game as they are in Planet Coaster, so keep that in mind. We'll hire 4 keepers. The park's not too big, so I don't think we have to do work areas yet. These are caretakers. We'll hire keepers next. We'll hire maybe 3 of those. And then a mechanic, too, for stuff that'll break down eventually. And things that can break down, of course, are like rides, such as your tourism rides, but then also your water pumps and electric facilities. And, of course, they repair barriers, so it's a good idea to have more than one, even if you're trying to be cheap. Veterinarian, too. I need to get one of those veterinarian facilities going. Maybe we'll put that up here, too. It is a little difficult to hide things in this narrow space. But I guess that's the challenge of this one, is to try to build stuff in a very small area. We'll also need to quarantine animals, too. But I haven't yet seen... we will likely have a diseased animal, because I haven't seen how frequently animals become diseased when you first purchase them. So I guess we'll see that in a little bit. Let's elevate our home over here. And we can maybe put some rocks or something under that. Looks like a house, doesn't it? We'll put some rocks and elevate the terrain under there to make it actually look good. It's actually nice. It's got a nice brick foundation, so we'll make that look good. And, of course, we can move all the vegetation around it to make it look even better. All right, so we've got employees. We've got some of the buildings that we need. I think we'll need electricity for some of these facilities, too. So let's put down that. I believe that's under... is that under construction, maybe? No. It's under facilities. I have yet to find that. Facilities, power. Here we are, utilities. And then eventually we'll be able to research different types of power, such as solar or wind power, so that way it's a little less intrusive and more budget-friendly, since it's the zoo literally requires a very small amount of power, but it still requires power nonetheless. Let's take a look what else water might need to be filtered. Obviously, the bears will need some water filtration. Now, obviously, the guests do not want to see these facilities nearby. They do not like these pumping stations and these electric stations and whatnot, so just keep that in mind. But we're really limited on space. I'm going to have to, do a lot of terraforming. I'm very nervous in this game from the alpha of running out of cash, so that's kind of why I'm building things on the cheap. But essentially, just think of this as like Walmart running their own zoo. Okay, so now we got everybody down. We're going to deliver all the animals, so all the yep, there they go. They're kicking into action now. Everybody's going to start delivering the animals. And then we'll start by decorating each one of these enclosures to their needs. The bear one up here is probably the best, as where the turtle and the lemur ones are the worst. And we're going to have to elevate the fence, too, otherwise they're just going to climb out. There's also anti-climbing measures that you can put down so that way they can't jump over the edge. Essentially, it's like made of steel, so that way they can't get their claws into it. All right, turtles are in first. They're going to be the first ones we work on. At least one turtle. And boom, there's our first turtle. All right, let's pause it and see what the turtle wants for its enclosure. So it's pretty turtles are very easy. They really don't want any sort of plants or anything like that. You can decorate, but they're very easy to take care of. So let's actually build a little disabled by scenario. Oh, I can't actually do any terraforming. Oh, that's interesting. So we cannot flatten out the mountain or anything. So the scenario itself prevents us from doing any sort of terraforming. So it's probably a good idea that I use these small buildings, because we really don't have much space at all, and I can't terraform, so that makes it a little more difficult. Certainly more areas we could use for smaller animals. Okay, well, we know we can't build a spot for the bears, so no caves or anything super amazing. All right, well, that's good to know. We have fine sand going down for the turtle. He wants a lot more sand. Let's do some coarse sand, too. There we go. And we'll put his house in the corner if we can. And that way, we can have the animal taken care of. All of its needs. Okay, there we go. So it looks like the terrain is good. Looks like they don't need water or anything like that. Coverage is okay. We could pump it up a little bit with a tropical biome. But really what the turtles want, I think, is a hard shelter. But apparently, that also is good. So all we gotta do is just put some food in here. Huh, I remember turtles needing something else. Let's put a large food bowl here. And a little bit of water, and we'll call it good. Where's our water source? There we go. There's one. Water pipe it is. All right, perfect. Turtles seem to be happy. we'll check back on him in a little bit to make sure that that holds out. Make sure he doesn't get more upset about anything else. Obviously, enrichment is not perfect, so we'll need to put some toys down. And the hard shelter is an issue, so we'll need to make sure that that's fixed too. So let's go do that now. Put down the habitat shelter. Sending in Jimmy Carter now to build a little thing for this. Habitats for turtles. And I guess that's okay. I think I'll try to put this underground a little bit. There we go. And then we can put some sand under there, or in this case, some habitat small bedding for the turtles to kind of sleep on. There we go. We'll probably end up having 2. They might have a baby, so there's always room for more, I suppose. How you doing now, little guy? All right, 350 guests is the goal. We're already up to, well, we're at 0. Thought we'd have a few people already jumping in, but I guess not. How are we doing with that hard shelter? Hard shelter's good. Excellent. So we just need to add some toys, so we'll see what the turtle wants next for that. And I hear some more animals being delivered, so before they escape, we better pause. Let's go back to habitat and try some toys. Toys? T-O-Y-S. Oh, I guess we could actually sort this way. If we go to enrichment, we can go to toys that way. And it looks like we've got none researched at all. Wow. The game does not give us any sort of research to start with. Okay. Well, we'll start researching then after all the animals are in place. All right. Goal 2 is complete. The lemurs are dropped off. These little buggers are going to try to get out if we're not careful, so we better... there's already one alert. Low welfare. Oh, well, he literally just got dropped off. How could he have low welfare? He just arrived. We haven't even finished his cage or anything, I suppose, but let's go all the way around. There we go. And elevation here probably should be around almost like 5.5 meters. So that's probably a good start. There we go. We'll move the vegetation around. Everything is going to look better. This game, you are never finished in this game. You are always, always building more and bigger and wider and better. And that's what's fun about this game. Good thing we can actually move the vegetation. Too bad we just can't change any of it. So let's move these rocks out of here. There we go. Okay, what do you want there, little guy? Obviously food and water and an area to sleep are probably important. Actually, some animals don't really need... They're happy sleeping in a tree, but it seems these ones want it. So let's start with terrain. Wants a lot more short grass, it seems. So let's go ahead and do that. A little spray painting. We'll make that a little bigger. There we go. Easy. Alright, now let's add a little soil. We'll put our climbing enclosure over here. And a little bit too much short grass, so we'll just kind of keep filling things in. Takes a little bit, but it's super satisfying. The animals also want 20 meters of climbable terrain. That's where they socialize and feel safe. So let's try to keep filling things out. Alright, looks good. Okay, so then we want a hard shelter down, which I think counts as their climbing enclosure, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong about that, but maybe it counts. But we'll see. If not, let's try to put down a small shelter for them. We'll do another wooden one, something for them to crawl on. Small one, though. Something like that might be good. A few of them should be able to fit in this. Also, I guess they might be able to jump on that, so you want to be very careful to make sure they don't jump on that and then try to escape. So you got to be careful. They're smart ones. Let's do another small one. Now let's put another one like right next to it. Let's just kind of give them like 2 little areas to sleep that are kind of connected. Something like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is put down a few more beds. And I don't think we need a bed for every animal. They don't all sleep at the same time, so you don't necessarily have a one-to-one. You don't need that. Let's see if that counts. Oh, why is he put in a box? That's weird. Unbox animal, please. There we go. Oh, I can't click on him yet. Oh, there he goes. Trying to click on this little guy. I need to be able to see what he needs. Well, luckily he won't be able to climb out. My other fear now is the bears. Oh, there he goes. Okay, so how you doing there, bud? Alright, hard shelter is good. All the terrain stuff is good. Now we just need some plants. So it looks like some lady ferns are upsetting him from Europe. I don't even see where that plant is. If you hover over it, it shows where it is. Oh, really? That's not even anywhere near his cage, but okay. Move that out. Okay, so they like, let's see, temperate North America. Oh, that's not what they like. Yeah, I was confused. This should be an African animal, I believe. So it should be Africa biome of tropical. So tropical Africa biome is what we can do here. So under nature, we go to biome, tropical. If we go to continent of Africa. All right, so we'll add a few plants here. Always fun to flip the trees around and do all sorts of different stuff here. Don't want anything too tall for them to climb out. I don't know if they can or not, but climbable area is what we really want to maintain. We'll build that over here. So let's try to put like one of these here. Ah, good. Good coverage now. They're happy with that. And maybe we'll put a tree right in the middle, and then we'll put some climbable stuff around that. There's already some pre-built things. The climbable area is probably the thing I'm not as skilled at building, so I just like to plop it down as soon as possible. I don't remember how to get there either. Here's all the climbable stuff, but I don't see all the prefabs unlocked yet. Climbable stuff you can build yourself. I wonder if there's any blueprints for that. There should be. Let's see. Food and water, beds and shelters, heaters, enrichment, climbable. Oh, it doesn't look like there's any prefabs. So I'm going to have to build my own, I guess. Oh boy, this is going to be rough. Alright, let's put down a few logs then. And a climbable platform. Maybe I'm not going to be so bad at this. We'll see. Let's try something like this. Put a platform right there in the middle. And maybe a thing to get up there. Maybe a little too steep. I don't know if I think I can adjust the angle of these, but then again, they're lemurs. They can get up there. They know how to do their thing. Alright, let's put another one on a pole, maybe. So they need 20 meters of space in order to get up there. So let's put that one there. And let's put another one over here. So let's do like another long platform. So they should be able to jump. I'm not sure if they can or not, but that's the idea. Let's take a look and see if he likes it. And I wonder if trees count as climbable area. Let's take a look here. Nice thing is you can work on the habitat while it's enclosed. So I believe the more animals we have in there, the higher they're going to need climbable areas. But we'll come back. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be our bears. Awesome. Hey there, bear. Oh, wow. He looks like he's having a good day. Wow. All right. I think I'm a little nervous about the bear enclosure being a little short. So let's go ahead and try to raise that up a little bit. Maybe we'll go a couple meters higher. Let's go select this area and then... So let's try this. We'll go this high. So let's go from 2 meters maybe to 4 meters. Is there a way I can adjust this height now? There we go. So let's go from like 2 to 4 meters. There we are. He must be from Ireland because we Dublin. There we go. Fantastic. Alright, now the bear requires pretty much the same care as the other two. We need to first spray paint the ground. So in this case, they just want a lot more just regular grass. So it's pretty easy for some of these initial animals. All you gotta do is just hit them with the spray paint. There we go. And then it looks like he wants some more rock and soil. Unfortunately, I can't terraform, so building a cool cave and stuff is just something I can't do. But we can try to make it work for them. They want more of that long grass gone. Boy, alright, let's spray paint the whole area with just short grass. Get rid of all that long grass for them. This looks good, right? And then we'll add some more, just need to get that long grass all the way down. We should be almost down to 0. There we go. Alright, let's add some of the rock again. Can you smell what it's cooking? Absolutely. And the bears don't mind a little snow, but it's not required. I think that gray means that you can have it, but you don't need it. Okay. Now on to some... Let's do a tundra, because we are in Canada after all. So let's try a nature. We'll sort now by North America tundra. So let's go to continent North America tundra. Let's see, biome tundra. There we are. Ooh, we can actually put down some mossy rocks too. Very cool. That's really neat. Let's try the... Oh, they're kind of small rocks though. These are rocks, right? Champion moss. Oh yeah, it's all over a rock. Oh, it'd be so cool to put some water here, but unfortunately These bears can't have it yet. They're not allowed to have. They lost their privileges. Okay, so we're gonna go with the tundra theme here, which is kind of cool. Oh, is that a cranberry? Oh, cowberry bush. I've never heard of that. Let's put some of these near the thing here to decorate a little bit. Of course, we'll have to. Next thing we'll do is start immediately researching all these animals to increase their welfare even more. Otherwise, really, it's a big problem in this game with you know, protesters. If an animal hasn't been fed and is a little unhappy because there's no toys, protesters immediately come in. Sometimes the protesters come in faster than your staff can even take care of the animal, even when you have plenty of staff. So it's always a balancing game. That's just the name of the game. Alright, the tundra seems to be kind of lame. Let's try some temperate then. It's not really too much here for trees, but we'll make that area a little tundra. Well, is there fir trees we can do? Cypress trees. Holly trees are good. Let's do a holly tree. They're huge if you get the right one. Yeah, that's a pretty big tree there. Alright, that's going to be good. Put it into a few corners of the map. Let's do some smaller holly trees. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Now let's do a few more rose bushes or whatnot. So they want plants and they want coverage. So plants seems to be, I've never quite figured it out, but it seems that plants are just small and coverage is made by trees. So any small like plant or whatnot counts. It's not looking too bad for me just throwing this together. Not bad at all. Let's put an elm tree over here. Ideally, I'd love to put the bear cave in the middle, but unfortunately we can't do that. Let's also make sure we got some food for him now. So let's head over to, let's see, food and water. Put down a food bowl, which is going to be large. Let's do one there, and then we'll do a... that should be for the bear, right? Oh, that actually doesn't seem to be... I might have to come back. I may have put down wrong food bowls. Like, for example, for the turtles. I think I should have maybe used this one, because it doesn't list those there. So I may have made a mistake with that. But again, these are new, and I'm just learning. I know some things, though. Let's do a large food trough there. And then we'll do something for the lemurs, too. We need to actually have something for them, which is right here. Feeding platform. Best to put it by the doors, and also by the walls, so that way all the people who are coming to look at the animal can see. So that's going to be exciting. Alright, we need a food tray for the bears. They do like meat and salmon and such, so it's probably a good idea to put them here. And we do see grizzly bear right there, but I don't see the black bear anywhere. Bengal tiger. It should be on the same level, because they eat meat. So let's go ahead and put down a watering dish. We'll figure out the other bears later. Everything's always a little investigation. So bears, lemurs, and turtles all seem to be ready to go with food. We just need our black bear now, which will require a lot of the same stuff as the brown bear. So let's see, we can rename them too. So let's see, grass. Okay, so we just want to basically just add a ton more soil and rock, and this bear will be super happy. Plus, it's all good with the snow too, so let's do a little bit more decoration. So more rock. Let's add rock to the coastline here. That'll make him happy. Hopefully this grizzly bear doesn't escape. The null barrier is kind of tricky to work with, so hopefully I've got that correct. Otherwise, we'll just have a few escapes and fix it. It's not like it's Jurassic Park. These are just bears. He'll break out, eventually get bored, fall asleep on a path, and then he'll just be picked up by one of our zookeepers. All right, short grass is almost good. And we'll start adding some soil here. So let's do a little bit of soil near where we'll probably put maybe their sleeping zone. So a little bit more soil. A little bit more soil. There we go. And then let's shorten the grass again. There we go. Perfect. All greens here, plus climbable area. We need a hard shelter, though, so we'll put that down. A little bigger one for the bear here, I suppose. Also, that other bear is going to need one, too. So we'll work on those. So habitat, let's go with the... let's go with the... something different. Let's go with... these are all made of wood. Let's try the... Let's see, 8x4x4. This is good for the bears, I think. Put this over here. And we'll do the same with the other bears, too. 8x4x4. It's going to be a little tight fit, but it should work just fine, considering the space that we're given. So really, we have to fit enclosures that fit our space. We're not building a zoo from scratch. Okay, this bear is upset about a lot of plants in here. In fact, nothing counts for this bear, so we got to move pretty much everything out. So I think there's a way to grab everything and move it. If we go to this option, I think we can do this. We don't have to move everything one by one, so that actually helps a little bit. Now, I don't know anything more than that, so if you have any tips for me in the game, if you would like to give me some pointers or whatnot, if you have 1,000,000 hours in Planet Zoo, and believe you me, I totally would understand, I'm not judging, then go ahead and make sure you share. I'd love to know more about this game. We'll set these over here for now. Some of these might be hovering in the air, but we'll fix them later. First of all, we just want to get our animals happy. Let's move a sugar maple out of there. That should be good. Man, a sugar maple is such a cool-looking tree. And I think maybe some of these are actually in the null barrier, so we'll probably have to move a few more. Let's take a look. Yep, looks like a few more trees up there have got to go. Yeah, we'll have to move all those back. Technically, maybe we don't, because if we put enough of the stuff he likes in there, it probably won't affect it. So let's go to the Asian tropical/temperate. So let's go to Asia tropical temperate. Continent Asia tropical 2. There we are. Alright. Yeah, the beech tree is a big one. Big tree. Actually, it's one of the biggest trees I've seen. Look at that thing. It's huge. Some of the other trees will definitely stress the bear out, and they don't like that. But it's not the end of the world if you kind of keep them away from them. It's not too bad. Interesting. We're putting down some palm trees and other things. Oh, you know what we could do, too, is put... When you get far enough in the game, you can put down, like, a beautiful, like, overturned log or something like that, and it just looks incredible. So let's go ahead and put a dead tree there. Put cherry blossoms, a few of those near the entrance. One thing I've noticed, too, is that if you tap shift, it does lock everything down to the ground, so that's good. Let's do a few cypress trees, maybe over by the enclosure, or their habitat. There we are. Okay. How do we do on terrain? Terrain is good. They want some climbable area, though, so we can definitely put in some climbable area. Looks like the grizzly bears don't really care, but these bears do. So let's add some more coverage. Let's add some more trees over here. Oh, they don't like that. Well, no, they do. Yeah, it does count. Alright, let's take a look back at their happiness. We need more coverage. Let's try... Oh, I would like to put some stuff in the water. I think we could do that, but let's try to do just trees. Just trees or ease, that's all. There we go. Alright, let's add some more bushes and such over here. And then some more cypress trees. Kind of weird, but I'm just kind of throwing things together, getting ideas for when I do a full playthrough as well. Again, if you haven't already subscribed and if you haven't clicked that notification bell on, just a reminder that I'll be also live streaming through the main story, not the storyline, but the main, what I think is the main mode of the game, which is franchise mode, where you get to build really your own custom zoo. Looks like we'll need to raise the elevation of this area as well, it seems. Boy, these bears are going to be a pain in the neck. They're not happy about some of these plants, that's for sure. We just need to add more random stuff because they like some other stuff here. They're not happy about the plants, I think, because the other plants that shouldn't be here, so we'll have to move them out. Let's put some more holly trees down. Whoa, I put a tree on top. It's not a cherry, it's a tree. Alright. With that, we're going to move these back and open the park. We're just almost out of time here, so let's go ahead and move everything back just so it doesn't count anymore. And we'll lower these down. I'll make sure everything's touching the ground here. All we got to do is press, if we press M to move, and then if we press Shift, it'll actually lock everything down into place. And then we can go even further if we want to. Probably won't be perfect, but it's close. There we go. And we'll add some more trees that the bear likes here in just a little bit. Let's see how he's doing now. At least he's got his hard shelter and places down for food. And overall, he's happy, except we just need to work on some other plants, and we'll get that number up. Temperate, tropical, make sure we're on Asia. Let's check here. Yep, tropical, temperate, Asia. We'll just add some more, and it should be good. All right, guys, thank you very much for clicking and tapping that like button. I got to get out of here for now. We got our first guest coming into the park, so thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to add donation bins and so much more. We have got a lot more to go before this zoo is even close to being even started, as well as some lovely game glitches. There we go. Sometimes it just takes a poke. All right, you all take care. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.